Future Fable. I'm the owner of Light Skin Naturals. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about hyperpigmentation, because hyperpigmentation is actually a very common problem for women of color, and it's quite problematic. People usually just worry about hyperpigmentation and always looking for what they can do to get the pigmentation of their skin. So this video today is going to talk about why hyperpigmentation, how do we even come about having issues of hyperpigmentation in our skin, what's going on when our skin suddenly becomes unevenly toned. So we're going to start by defining what hyperpigmentation is. So hyperpigmentation is an uneven distribution of melanin in the skin surface. So when you have uneven distribution of melanin in the skin surface, it leads to uneven skin tone, because then your skin doesn't have uniformity. There are areas where the melanin is more sensitized on your skin than others, which tend to look darker than the other areas. So hyperpigmentation is basically formed as a result of the activity of the melanin. So there are the cells in the skin called the melanocytes that hold the melanosomes that synthesize the melanin. I know this might sound like really big words, but it's just basically the melanocytes are the skin cells that basically produce the melanin through a series of chemical synthesis in the skin. The melanocyte cells are located at the base of the epidermis, and they usually surround the epidermal cells, and they gradually release melanin into these skin cells, and that's what gives your skin the color you have. So whether you're fair, you're dark, it's caused by the activity of the melanocytes in your skin. Amount of melanin that your melanocytes produce basically determines what shade or color you are. So normally this skin function goes on normally. The skin produces a normal dose of melanin just to give you the right skin color that you desire, or that you should have, or that you currently or you normally should have. But there are certain situations in the skin which causes an excess production of melanin, which then begins to create the problem of hyperpigmentation in the skin. And one of such conditions, or a major distinctive factor that leads to the production of excess melanin in the skin, which leads to hyperpigmentation, is the production of free radicals in the skin. Now, free radicals are like these rogue cells in the skin that cause damage in the skin, that ravage the skin and create all sorts of negative, undesirable effects on the skin. So most times, when the skin goes through an adverse condition, or when the skin is going through a rough condition, or when the skin is just faced with is not at its best, most likely free radicals are being produced, and that's what's causing all the negative effects that you can see on your skin. So free radicals are not a desirable effect for the skin. Free radicals are damaging, scavenging molecules that cause instability and cause damage to the skin. They lead to skin aging, they lead to wrinkles, they can cause breakouts, all those negative things that you experience in your skin are mostly caused by free radicals. A skin that doesn't have excessive or uncontrolled free radical production is pretty much in a good state. So free radical production is a major problem for the skin. And whenever the skin experiences issues of excessive free radical scavenging, the skin automatically seeks to protect itself. The skin automatically puts things in motion to help control the damage that is being caused by the free radicals and put the situation under control. And one of the ways that the skin does that, ironically, is by the production of melanin. So whenever your skin senses danger, whenever your skin feels threatened, whenever your skin is attacked by excessive free radicals, your skin automatically begins to produce more melanin. So actually, The melanin is a protective factor for our skin, and depending on your skin type and color, your skin can produce a lot of melanin, and sometimes that can cause issues of hyperpigmentation. So women of color like us who are darker skinned have a lot of melanin in our skin already. And so whenever our skin goes into self-preservative mode due to free radical damage and starts to produce excessive melanin, we then have an overproduction of melanin, which causes the issues of hyperpigmentation that we're usually faced with. This also explains why our melanin, the fact that our melanin is a protective factor explains the reason why the rates of skin cancer is much lower with women of color than our Caucasian counterparts. So it's the fact that our skins are more resilient as women of color, the fact that our skin is able to protect itself a little bit more, even when we're exposed to the same circumstances as our Caucasian sisters. The fact that our skin is able to resist a little bit more is just due to the fact that we have more melanin than the Caucasian women. So that goes to explain, that's enough proof to you that the melanin is a protective factor. But what we don't want is an excessive production of melanin. We love our melanin, but what we don't want is a situation where we have uneven distribution of melanin in our skin, causing different areas to be lighter and different areas to be darker. So let's go down to the major causes. How can we, because if we identify the causes of hyperpigmentation, then maybe we can do something about this. So one of the causative factors of excessive production of melanin or hyperpigmentation is the sun, exposure to direct sunlight. So when we expose our skin to sun, it actually leads to an excessive production of melanin due to the free radical. This is as a result of free radicals that are released into the skin, and the skin protecting itself by producing more melanin to protect the skin. So exposing yourself to this excessive sunlight over a prolonged period of time will lead to an uneven distribution of melanin on your skin, and also leads to accumulation of melanin on your skin, leading to hyperpigmentation. So one very easy way you can protect your skin from excessive sun exposure is by wearing your sunscreen, and that's why we always talk about sunscreen and how important it is. Because once your skin is protected from the sun, then at least you're not going to have issues of hyperpigmentation based on excessive sun exposure. The second factor that leads to hyperpigmentation issues is also fluctuating hormones. So when your hormones are fluctuating, it leads to the production of excessive melanin to the skin. So, for instance, maybe when you're pregnant, or if you're taking certain contraceptive pills, or if you're going through adolescent, menopause, those stages in your life where your hormones are actually, just not stable, they are not balanced, they are fluctuating. Those times you would also notice that your skin could get darker as a result. And the third thing that leads to hyperpigmentation issues is also prolonged period of stress. Stress can actually lead to the production of excessive melanin as well, due to the production of free radicals in your skin. Once there are free radicals in production, excessive free radical production in the skin will automatically want to protect itself by producing melanin. So when you're stressed, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, and you're producing free radicals in your skin is going to produce more melanin, and you might notice different parts of your skin looking, a certain unevenness about the way your skin looks due to the uneven distribution of melanin on your skin. And then another reason why you can have uneven pigmentation on your skin is when you have skin irritation. When your skin is irritated, maybe because you're using products on your skin that are quite harsh, or maybe just due to physical friction on your skin. This kind of irritation or friction to your skin will also trigger production of excessive melanin to your skin, just basically to protect your skin. The skin is only trying to protect itself, so it would lead to an excessive production of melanin, and then you would also notice that you might be getting uneven skin tone. Finally, the last causative factor for uneven skin pigmentation is acne. Acne leads to the accumulation of melanin, especially at the places where we've had the acne. We notice that they tend to get darker because of the excessive melanin that seems to accumulate at those particular points where we have the acne. And over time, this can also be a reason for uneven skin tone. So basically, these are the major reasons why you have uneven skin tone. And if there is a way to mitigate either one or all of these factors, then you will notice that your skin will start getting more even. Now that we know the reasons why hyperpigmentation happen, I'm sure you've been able to maybe pinpoint one particular causative agent or a combination of agents that might be causing the hyperpigmentation issues that you're experiencing in your skin. So in our next video, we're just going to talk about how we can deal with hyperpigmentation issues in our skin. We're going to talk about the right selection of ingredients that would help us to manage hyperpigmentation issues, how we can select the right products, and basically just talk about the solution or how to deal with these issues of hyperpigmentation, since we've already identified the root cause today. So that's going to be our next video. Thank you so much for listening to me today on this particular video, and I hope you can join me next week for the continuation of this video, where we talk about how we're going to, what you can do and the right products you can use to deal with issues of hyperpigmentation.